Hey yummies, what's going on? I'm making macaroni and cheese today, so I'm gonna show y'all a couple of tricks, okay? How I do my sauce, and I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on camera, but here's my face now. And I'm gonna show y'all exactly how I do it. And this is actually my mama's recipe. My mom made the best macaroni and cheese, and I've yet to see anybody make it the way I do, so I'm gonna share it with y'all. All right. So of course for the mac and cheese, first you gotta boil the water. I put some oil in the water so the macaroni and cheese doesn't stick, and then I'll put a little bit of sauce. A little bit of salt. I'll put a little bit of salt in the water, and then once it starts to boil, I add my macaroni. Now most people use elbow macaroni for mac and cheese. I use this, or curly elbows. I like curly elbows because I want the cheese sauce to wrap around all of those nooks and crannies. I like the cheese to wrap around all of those nooks and crannies. So we're gonna bring this to a boil, and then we're gonna start the cheese sauce. Okay, so here is the boiled pasta. Give you a nice close-up. And it's in the pan. I drain the water off, and it's in the pan. I do a little trick where I add a little bit of oil. I drizzle it over the pasta so that it doesn't stick together while I'm setting it aside and waiting for the cheese sauce to be ready. Okay, so next up will be the cheese sauce. Okay, so for my cheese sauce, and I make a cheese sauce, that's how I do it. I add 2 cans of carnation milk, whatever kind of carnation milk you like. This is the one that I use. So I use 2 cans of that. Okay. And then I use, let's see, this time I'm using about 6 types of cheese. I am using white extra sharp cheese, and these are 8-ounce packages of the cheese. So that's white extra sharp. I use a lot of cheese. Then yellow extra sharp cheese, and I buy whatever cheese is on sale. So today I was at ShopRite, so I bought the ShopRite brand. And I just add that directly to the carnation milk. And then I love smoked Gouda. Anybody that knows me and that has had my macaroni and cheese, they know that I use smoked Gouda cheese. I've done these for some catering jobs, and people seem to like it. I love smoked Gouda. And then I have some fresh Parmesan cheese that I'm gonna cut up and add at the end. And I bought a 4 cheese blend, ShopRite. It's mozzarella, provolone, Parmesan, and Romano cheese, and it's shredded. So I'm just gonna drop that in. Again, it's store brand. Nothing fancy, because you can spend a lot of money on cheese if you want, if it's a special occasion and you really want to go all out with the cheese. You can do that, but I'm not going to do that. And now you just stir this around until all the cheese melts. Now, here's the secret. I don't use eggs in my macaroni and cheese. A lot of people use eggs. I just don't like it. I don't want to take the chance of a piece of slimy egg that is in my mouth when I'm eating macaroni and cheese. I don't know. People do it, and there's a technique to it, and apparently it makes your macaroni and cheese fluffy. I just don't like it. I wasn't raised on it. We don't do that. But to bring it all together, we use this. Yep. Kraft Cheese Whiz cheese dip. That's the secret for us. And that's what binds the whole thing together. That's what people use the egg for, to make it come together, so that you don't just have pieces of cheese falling off. It sticks, it comes all together. So we add a jar of that, and also I use a lot of garlic powder and some pepper. Southern food, you gotta have black pepper. All right, so I'm gonna keep stirring this around until all the cheese melts. And Then I'll show y'all how I add the cheese sauce to the macaroni and what that looks like. Alright, so here's what the cheese sauce is looking like. The cheese is melting. Those chunks of cheese are melting down. Look at that. It's amazing. I'm gonna let the cheese melt down a little bit more. And then I'm gonna pour this cheese sauce over my pan of noodles that are ready. And then I'm gonna pop it in the oven at 475 and let it bake until it browns up and it starts bubbling. This is gonna be delicious. I added the garlic powder and black pepper, and I season it to taste. So if I want it to taste more garlicky, I just add more garlic. Now there's so much cheese in here that you don't need to add any salt. The cheese, the different types of cheese, season it up on its own. So please do not add any more salt to your cheese sauce. This is sufficient. Alright? Alright, we're about to add this to the pasta. I also added a half a can of water to the sauce because I want it to be a little juicier, not too thick. So I took one of these cans and I filled it up halfway with water. I used purified water, filtered water, and I'm just mixing that in to loosen it up just a little bit. So you see that it's the right texture before we pour it over the noodles. You don't want it to be too thick because then it'll be just like hard. You still want it to be juicy as it cooks. All right, we're almost there, y'all. All right, so here's the cheese sauce. I poured it into the pan with the macaroni, and I'm about to put it in the oven and bake this up. I am so excited. I cannot wait to taste this. I'm just in the mood for macaroni and cheese. I need comfort food right now. All right. So here's a nice close-up shot. This is about to go in the oven. All right. So the mac and cheese is looking good. It's starting to brown up. It's bubbling. I'll let it cook a little bit longer. Ooh, it's gonna be slamming. I can't wait to get into this. Alright, so the mac and cheese is done. Look at that. Well, I even made an extra little pan because I had a little extra. And I have some sauce, some cheese sauce left over that I'll probably use for like, I don't know, a dipping cheese sauce. For maybe some vegetables or some meats, maybe some steak. But this is the finished product. Slammin', y'all. Slammin'.